Come in, Southern California. This is Radio Free Los Angeles. Do you copy? Repeat, do you copy?
Now transmitting from behind the Iron Curtain in the People's Republic of California, we bring you the voice of free men, free markets, and limited constitutional government. Welcome to citizen-sponsored Radio Free Los Angeles with President of the California Taxpayers Union, Mike Alexander, and editor of the Taxpayer Gazette, Jonathan Wilson.
All right, we have the go sign. Mike Alexander, Jonathan Wilson, Radio Free Los Angeles, coming to you from the studios of KRLA 870 The Answer, right here in beautiful downtown Glendale. And I'm happy to be here with you tonight, Jonathan.
Yeah, good to be here. Did you have a good weekend?
I did indeed. I had my grandchildren with me, 3 of them at least. Patricia and I have about 11 of the creatures. So I had 3 of them with us this weekend. We're going to have them tonight. So I barely got out of there without my oldest grandson. I said, could I go with you? You know,
Who, Matthew?
Yeah, Matthew. Yeah, he wanted to come over and be part of it, especially when he heard that Marcy was going to be here, which brings to mind the fact that I have 2 wonderful guests here tonight. Marcy Guzman and her husband, Guillermo Guzman, from South Pasadena. Welcome here to our studio, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, of course, these people are family, really. We've known each other so long. So I'm going to neglect you here for just a little bit as we do an intro to the program. But Marcy and Guillermo are here tonight on behalf of the Citizens Taxpayer Group down in South Pasadena to tell you about the history, of their initiative to repeal the utility users tax and to talk about the various and sundry, as I like to call them, lies, damn lies, and ballot statements that have been circulated in defense of the indefensible. And Marcy has made me swear that I'll be nice tonight and not insult anybody. So I promise, and we'll see. You can grade me at the end. But in any event, we're going to have these folks on for the first hour, and then in the second half hour, we're going to go into what might appear to be some national issues. You folks are certainly welcome to stay during the second half hour, but we're going to be talking with our audience and callers about what happened back there in Washington over the last couple of weeks, this disgrace called the Kavanaugh confirmation hearings. And I'm going to relate the whole business to you, relate it right back to the city. I'm going to lay this mischief and this nonsense right at the feet of the public employee unions and their uncritical support of the left wing of the United States. They are the reason why we had this mess back there. We'll talk about a lot of things. As you know, the election is coming up here, first Tuesday in November. I believe that's November 6th. All of you out there, your ballots will start to come into the mail probably toward the end of this week. You might have them this weekend. Certainly you'll have them by a week from today. And speaking of a week from today, I'm not going to be with you next Sunday night live. Jonathan and I will be recording some special interviews with some people that I think that you'll like. So be sure to tune in for some very cogent discussions with some special guest panelists that I'm waiting for them to get back to me right now. But we will be pre-recording the show rather than to run a tape of a past show. We want to keep it fresh. We want to keep it current. And so all of you who are out there, we want you to keep a lot of things in mind. First and foremost, we have the propositions that are going to be on the ballot. Now, we have, if you want to know our recommended voting, we have a special tab. Jonathan Wilson, you've done yeoman's work on that. Where do our wonderful listeners go to get some guidance on voting?
You can find out everything there is to know for the election on our website, and that address is CaliforniaTaxpayersUnion.org. We don't have the local recommendations up yet, but we've got statewide, Congress, judicial, all that stuff.
Excellent.
And while you're there, join the union.
That's it. That's the most important thing. And by the way, when we get to the second half hour, ultimately the people who are responsible for the mess in Washington is us. The voters, we're still in charge of this thing. We're still Americans. We here in California, there are 5 or 6 million people that think just like we do. What we have to do is get as well organized and as well financed as the opposition, and I think that you'll find that opposition will start to fall. The problem is that we're not doing enough of it. What you saw this past week is what happens when even Republicans get on their hind legs and find a little fight in them. It's amazing what will happen when you push back. But boy, does it seem to have to get pretty bad before anybody does anything. I mean, they even got Mitch McConnell, out of cold storage and warmed him up, brought him up to room temperature, and he actually has something to say for a change. Amazing. Yeah, and Susan Collins surprised us all, but I'm still going to keep an eye on her. But in any event, we've got a lot of work to do, but this past week showed that we can do it. Now, we've talked about all of these things. As many of you may know who are listening here, the previous iterations of our group included Pasadena Patriots and basically a Tea Party organization that preceded the formation of the California Taxpayers Union, which is our current branding, and I think a logical progression of everything that we did. Jonathan Wilson and I were among several people who founded the Tea Party movement here in the San Gabriel Valley. We reached out and worked with a lot of other people. I always hate to use these words like founders of this and that. These are Americans that just finally came together and said that they were going to do something about our situation, and so we did. And Jonathan and I kind of had the signature event, which Jonathan was essential in organizing, and that was our iconic demonstration on the steps of City Hall. You'll still see archived tape on Fox News every once in a while. Even today, you'll see that protest on City Hall steps.
Well, I think one of the ones that was got also just as big or bigger was the Adam Schiff Town Hall.
It was.
Remember
how
big that thing was?
It was huge. We had 4,000 or 5,000 people, and that ironically, now our first event there was April 11th, 2009 on the City Hall steps. Then we got involved with Kevin James through this station, and we had this big demonstration against Obamacare down at the Alhambra City Hall library area down there. Huge demonstration, and that was actually how Marcy and I kind of met, wasn't it, Marcy? Tell us about that.
Well, actually, I heard you interviewed on Kevin James, and you were talking about the issues and the upcoming demonstration. Actually, Mike, it was in Old Town, in front of Adam Schiff's office that we met, not at the town hall.
Yeah, but Alhambra. You first became aware of our organization by listening to Kevin James and on the town hall.
Yeah.
Yes, and then that led to a meeting later on, and then on September 27th, I still recall the day, you held one of our first neighborhood tea parties at your home right there in South Pasadena.
Yes.
Yeah, and
2009.
And that wasn't your first involvement with South Pasadena issues and politics and being concerned about the growth of big government and wasteful local spending, which is kind of redundant, I grant you, in most cases. But in any event, the people here in this room, all of us together have a lot of connections going back. Well, that music that you're hearing in the background, it means we got a break coming up. Tune in. I know you're going to want to ask some questions of these wonderful people. Call us at 866-870-5752 right here on KRLA 870 The Answer. Mike Alexander, Jonathan Wilson, back with you in just a moment.
If you like what you're hearing and would like to support Radio Free Los Angeles and the California Tax Limitation Committee, please call area code 626-792-1772, 626-792-1772, or kindly visit our website, catlc.net, catlc.net. You can also watch Radio Free Los Angeles on Facebook Live at radiofreela.us.
If you'd like to talk with Radio Free Los Angeles, the phone lines are wide open. 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. We're live, local, and here to talk with you. 866-870-KRLA.
All right, we're live now here. Back with you, Jonathan Wilson, Mike Alexander. Be sure to call us, be part of the show, 866-870-5752. And don't forget, this is citizen-sponsored radio. It depends upon you, not only your participation, but backing up with a little love. And you can go to radiofreelosangeles.net, all spelled out, radiofreelosangeles.net. Go there, sign up. You'll get the notices, and you have an opportunity to go join the union. And for many of you out there who are wondering, what in the heck do we do? What does your money get used for? What kinds of activities are we involved in? Well, we've got exhibits A and B here. Tonight, Marcy Guzman and Guillermo Guzman, who have been heavily involved in South Pasadena issues for many years. Now, I know many of you out there saying, what in the world are we doing? We're going to hear enough of South Pasadena already. Everybody out there needs to realize that the problems that they're going to talk to you about in South Pasadena are exactly the same problems that every city in the state of California has right now. There is no difference. It's a pension problem. It's the public employee unions. It's city councils who don't know what's going on or refuse to face facts and are denying everything that's going on. It's the same problem every city. It's the same problem in Sacramento. And really, it's the same problem in Washington, D.C. And it all comes back to how we're going to frame these issues. And you guys down there in South Pasadena many years ago decided that you were going to raise these issues of big government at the local level and raise the spending issues in a certain way. What did you decide to do down there, Marcy?
Well, we decided to run an initiative to repeal the utility users tax.
Yes. And
Guillermo is one of the proponents, along with two other important people, Hugh Hemington and our former city treasurer, Ed Risto. He was the city treasurer from 1972 to 1995.
What is the utility users tax, and how much does it raise every year for the city?
It's a 7.5% tax on utilities.
Ouch.
That would be electricity, water, cable, telephone, cellular phone, things like that.
Yeah,
and it brings in about, it averages about $3.5 million, give or take. This last year it was $3.4 million. And I think that makes up about 12% of the general fund.
So it's about $3.5 million a year, give or take, year over year. Now, the first time you guys attacked this problem, tried to get signatures on the ballot, was what year?
2014.
And when did this tax pass? Wasn't it first put in place in what, 2010?
No, 1983.
Wow.
It was a temporary tax for 6 months.
There you go.
And Ed Risto says there's nothing more permanent than a temporary tax.
That's right. He and Ronald Reagan agree with each other. Yeah. So it's been around for 25 years, and I guess that urgent need is still there. Yeah. But every time they say they need that tax, the revenues actually grow, don't they, Guillermo?
Yeah, they raise it to even up to 8% or 10%. I don't remember, something like that.
8%
they wanted to go up to 10%, but the people, they have so many complaints, so they have to bring it down to 7.5%, which is where it's at now.
Right. And but year over year, they always say that they have a shortfall. They're running short. They need to raise the taxes to cover the projected deficit, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that's our understanding.
But yet those revenues that they keep getting year over year always exceed the amount of the tax.
Yeah. Well, not by each year, but the tax was last renewed in 2011, and since that time, the total revenues have increased $16.3 million, which is 4 times the amount of the tax.
Okay.
And the general fund revenue is $4.4 million.
Right. Mm-hmm. So they go around, they create a phony need, and they always spend ahead of the revenue, don't they? Mm-hmm. So they constantly keep that need there.
Yeah.
Now now that is just amazing. Somehow, some way. Now, what really happens is that they articulate the need. They pass the tax. It raises that $3.5 million. But meanwhile, the economy's doing okay. South Pass is doing okay. And the other revenues are actually keeping pace and creating a surplus, right?
Yeah.
So when the city gets that surplus in, that is, after they get that $2, $3, $4, $5 million ahead, then they go ahead and cancel out the old utility tax, right?
No.
No, class.
We wish they did.
Right. No, they don't do it. What do they do?
They spend it.
Yes. And what do they do with it mostly?
Well, we're arguing that it backfills the general fund for bloated salaries and for pension benefits.
That's just not an argument, my friend. Mm-hmm. That's a reality, because those pension and benefits, what's the average? Now, you are the master of statistics here. Guillermo, what are the average pay and benefits for the average full-time employee down there in South Pasadena?
Well, the average with pay and benefits is $93,916
for the full-time.
The full-time, and the median pay is $80,518.
Right. Now that's a lot. Now that includes a lot of people down to clerical people to scrape bubble gum off of the bottom of park benches and pick flowers or whatever the hell else it is that they do down there.
They change their light bulbs in the city,
right?
And things like that.
Well, those people need a pension.
Yeah.
Does that sound nice? Okay, all right. So they are, but of course we have runaway salaries. We have cops and firemen, so-called public safety people, some of whom make more than the governor, don't they?
Yeah.
Give me some of the sample salaries down there, some of the more. Well, let's start with the city mismanager. What does that guy get?
Well, our city manager, with the last full year of full employment was 2016.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was $213,000 in pay and benefits.
Pay and benefits, yeah. Now, where did he go? That was Sergio, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, last time he was sporting a new look, had a little beard, dressing fine.
All these city managers look very slick.
They do. Yeah. They do.
I think he must have got called up to the big leagues.
He must have. Where'd he go?
I don't know, Anaheim.
Went to the big show.
Yeah. He went to Santa Monica.
Oh!
That is the big show.
There you are. Yeah, he's probably pulling down $400,000 or $500,000.
Yeah, he probably doubled his salary.
He's got a Audi convertible probably by now.
Right, yeah. So, exactly. He demonstrated he could hold tight. Give me some more salaries down there just to show how hard those people are working down there.
Well,
you got a fire captain.
We have a police works director.
Public works.
Public works. I mean, the public work director is $194,000. The community service director is $171,545.
Right.
The finance director is $163,616.
Right. Now, that's a guy, him and the city manager, these are the guys who are having trouble using their Obama phones and figuring out what the actual pension debt is down there, aren't they?
There's also this guy, director of planning building, $159,664.
Right.
And the director of arts and culture.
Oh, yes.
This guy is very, very important for the city. $153,406.
Right. But, of course, we're going to pay these people up to 90% of their salary for the rest of their lives, for the rest of your life, whichever shall first occur, right?
Mike, I do have some highlights. Could I read them?
Of course you may.
Real quick, that we discovered, and we got all this information off of transparentcalifornia.com.
Yes.
So one city employee, this is 2017, one city employee made over $111,000 in overtime pay.
There we go.
5 received more total pay than Governor Brown, who made $185,000. Right. And 8 city employees received more overtime pay than their actual salaries, and 9 retirees collected pensions exceeding $100,000 a year.
There you go.
And some other important statistics are that the number of city employees receiving pay and benefits over $200,000 a year increased. This is from 2011 to 2017, 125% from 4 to 9.
Right.
The number of city employees receiving pay and benefits between $150,000 and $199,000 increased 44% from 16 to 23.
Right. Now, we're going through a lot of statistics.
Okay.
Mr. Wilson, you and Marcy have done an incredible job putting together these statistics and these things up on the Taxpayer Gazette. Is that right? Can you tell the audience where to find it?
Well, it's going to be on our website.
Yes.
We don't have all of this information on our website just yet. But they do have it on their site.
Which site is that?
Which is StopUUT.org.
StopUUT.org. StopUUT.org.
But we're in the process of typesetting the new Taxpayer Gazette.
Yes.
And should be hitting doorsteps probably late this week or early next week.
Right. Hey, by the way, since I'm in my nice mode tonight because of Marcy, this might be a good time for somebody down in South Pasadena who's still sober on Sunday night and wants to defend all of this insanity, to call the show, 866-870-5752, because I'd really like to know from you how we get from here to there. Now, how many more minutes we got going in there, Jeff? Oh, okay, great. We got 3 minutes. Yeah, I want to start this. So we've gone through the salaries, and that calls for a great big so what. All right, so people are making a lot of money out there, but this high level of salaries and benefits have produced an incredible problem. What is that problem, Guillermo, that they're dealing with down there?
Where is the unsustainable debt that these salaries will accumulate, and that retirement benefits and all that is going to be so high that the city is not going to get any money to pay.
Right.
Exactly. And it's when they're have to be cutting all the services in the city, almost the police, the fire, everything that they threaten to cut now. Because now they threaten to cut everything that the people need except their own salaries. They don't even mention that.
They don't.
That's not in the conversation.
We're going to come back to that about how they cut positions rather than salaries. But the answer that I was looking for that we all know here is that these incredible levels of salaries and benefits have resulted in a great, big, huge balloon called an unfunded pension debt. In other words, every 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is, or every quarter, when the city of South Pasadena sends in its pension contributions for the quarter. They're short. They're not enough.
Because
and that's
it's like a snowball. It's just
correct.
coming down, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And bigger.
Now, class, this all goes back to 1998, 20 years ago. Going into 1998, and everybody pay close attention out here because this is the $1 trillion question. In 1998, at that time, the state of California had a pension formula which is sometimes referred to as 220. They would get 2% of their salary up to 20 years, right? So you calculate at the end of 20 years. Now, okay, that music to you. Now I'm going to come back to you and show you how it went up from 220 to 330. In other words, a 50% increase in the pension benefit with no corresponding contributions and no actuarial plan to meet it, and that's where it all started. So when we come back, we will continue the lesson in socialist economics and how it doesn't work. When you come back, be sure to join us at 866-870-5752. I'll be back with my two wonderful guests and personal friends, Marcy and Guillermo Guzman.
Come in, Southern California. This is Radio Free Los Angeles. Do you copy? Repeat, do you copy?
Now transmitting from behind the Iron Curtain in the People's Republic of California, we bring you the voice of free men, free markets, and limited constitutional government. Welcome to citizen-sponsored Radio Free Los Angeles with President of the California Taxpayers Union, Mike Alexander, and editor of the Taxpayer Gazette, Jonathan Wilson.
Hey, we're back with you, and special note of thanks to Basil Hoffman, who records that wonderful introduction for us, star of stage, screen, and television. It's always great to have you. So if you're out there tonight, Basil, call in. I know you know Marcy and Guzman. Say hello. And all of you out there, we love to hear from you here at 866-870-5752.
And Mike, don't forget to let our listeners know that they can watch the broadcast on Facebook Live.
Yeah, and
I've got everybody in the picture tonight. We've got Marcy here in studio and Guillermo. Just go to Facebook and search Radio Free Los Angeles, and be sure to like the page, and then you'll get notified every time we go live.
That's it. Hey, tonight we meet the diversity test, which is really important here, man. We've got a woman, right?
That's right.
And we got a guy with last name Guzman there, so I guess we have credibility now, right?
And you've got your token redneck.
Redneck, that's it. Yeah. Which one of us is in that category? I'll tell you. You know, just a little side note there. You would be surprised at our Tea Party office when it comes in. We have, no surprise, a cross-section of America in ages, old to young, and everything in between. God knows how many different orientations. We don't know because we don't ask because we don't care. What people are doing, that's their own damn business. This is America.
Well, I tell you, our office is people are coming and going all the time.
Yeah,
and we have one of the delivery guys.
Yeah.
I won't say if it's FedEx or UPS.
Yeah.
Every time he comes in to deliver a package, he just can't wait to talk to us. And complaining about California, what we need to do about it.
Right.
And then we have some guy that fixes our copier, and he's the same way.
Yeah.
You know, when's your next event? How do I listen to your radio show?
Right.
So there's a lot of people out there that, you know, we kind of see ourselves as support for conservatives in
Absolutely.
California.
We're just Americans talking about the issues that overwhelmingly concern Americans, and a lot of people who aren't Americans. We actually have a lot of support for what we do among people who aren't here legally necessarily, but they really buy into the idea of a country where they can advance and where it's easier to do business and where you got some money left over at the end of the month to improve your family's situations and make a better future for your kids. Hey, who knew? In other words, even if they're not formally citizens yet, they're very, very American in their outlook. And for many of them, that's why they came here. They didn't come here necessarily for the welfare and the hustle. Yeah, they came here to hustle and make some money and to become part of what we call our community. Let's get back to South Pasadena. So as a result of all this overspending, they I know where we were. Sorry about that. Lost my place. So we were talking about 1998. So back then it was 220. And our system, our pension system, even this bloated so-called defined benefit program that promises a fixed a fixed pension for life, which almost nobody in private industry is doing anymore. Even that bloated system was fully funded and doing okay. Yeah, they were coming at the end of the 90s with incredible returns, and like every other unsophisticated investor, they thought that these returns would last forever. Well, they didn't. But as long as they were good, they went ahead and they said, hey, let's declare ourselves a bonus. So we'll just go from, instead of 2% for 20 years, we'll give you 3% and we'll calculate your pension for 30 years. And at that minute, they had no new revenues attached to it, right? There were not going to be higher contributions by the cities. There were not going to be higher contributions by the employees themselves who were getting this 50% increase in their benefits. And that, from there to today became inevitable. And from then on, we had some good returns. Then we hit the skids in 2000 for a while, and then in 7 and 8, it really got crazy, and it went down. We've never recovered from those two dips in the market. As a result, the cities have been running up a debt. They've got a bill. They haven't fully funded their pension plans, and now down in South Pasadena, how many people do you have down there?
I think 123.
No.
You mean
how many population?
Guillermo, is it 25,000?
25,000. Where's it? Now, is that the public employees or the total population down there? You got a city of 25,000. How many households? About 10,500 households down there. And you have at least a $29 million pension deficit, but that's the number that's given to them by CalPERS, right?
No, actually, we discovered the CalPERS number is even higher than that.
Oh, what is it now?
And CalPERS says it's 35 million.
Okay, now it's up to 35. The last time I saw it was 29.
Well, that's the city's reporting 29. Oh. But we discovered that CalPERS is saying 35. I don't know why there's a discrepancy there. But
well, I think so, too. That thing's going so fast. It's like a blob. Right? It's growing fast. So let's look at that. So that pension debt, which was 29 at a certain point, probably for 2015, the numbers have been updated. And so the city is carrying on its books a number which even according to CalPERS is $6 million light. So you see why they have to have this pension tax and why this pension tax won't be enough. And in fact, we're going to get to this. These thieves, that wasn't nice. I'm sorry. The city fathers and mothers. Does that sound good? All right. The leadership of this wonderful country have discovered, oh my gosh, I think we might need another tax. Oh, what's a poor girl to do? Right? Because they're light. They're not going to make it. But as a matter of fact, that even that $35 million deficit is a phony number. And why is it a phony number, Ms. Guzman?
Because there are two numbers. One if you stay in the system and one if you want to get out.
No. Oh. Why is that $35 million a phony number? $35 million.
That sounds really hard to answer.
It's easy to answer.
Because the return that they based on it is 3.5%.
Okay.
I mean 7.5%.
Correct.
And not what the reality is 3.5%.
That's right. So CalPERS, when they're calculating that number, this is just a deficit, right? They're already paying in plenty of money to CalPERS, and they still owe them $35 million. But that $35 million is calculated on the assumption that their investments are going to make 7.5% a year compounded over the next 30 years. Now, if there's anybody out there who believes that, get into drug rehab. Because whatever else you're on, it ain't working for you. That number is wrong. And as a matter of fact, the adults in the room have recalculated that number using what some people call the risk-free rate of return. In other words, a much more conservative estimate about how much your portfolio is going to return over the next 3 years. And if you use that number, which is around 4%, you come up with a bigger number. What is that bigger number, Marcy?
It's over $100 million.
$100 million. 25,000 people.
Wow.
10,000 homes in Pasadena owe right now as much as $100 million to keep those people retired. Now, in the face of all of this, you guys launched this as a way to draw attention to these very important facts. And as a matter of fact, when you started on this program, on this initiative process in 2012, the problem has got nothing but worse, has it not? Mm-hmm. And what do these wonderful people have to say for themselves?
Well, I don't think they really realize how bad it is.
Oh,
okay.
Nonsense.
All right, but
that's nice, Marcy.
Okay, this is important though. They are.
Why don't they? They're running the damn city.
Okay.
If I know these things and if they're published, why don't they?
All right.
Call in and tell me, why don't you people know it down there? I'm telling it to you. These good people have a website up that you can read. You got a mouse, you got a finger, work it, go to the website. These are real numbers, and if they're wrong, please call me and walk us through it and tell us how and why it's not so. But at any rate, you were saying.
Well, I think they feel constrained by the state, that they've done all that they can do. They've taken the lowest pension formula as possible. They've tried to keep the cost down as much as possible, but they feel there's nothing else they can do. And we want to say, yes, there is. You can get out of the system with new employees.
Right.
And they believe that there will be huge penalties if they try to take everybody out. And we're saying, no, you don't have to take current employees or retirees. Just get new employees on a 401k plan, and then you'll stop that ballooning pension debt.
All right. Well, I'm going to deal with that nonsense. That's
okay.
not, by the way, that's not Marcy talking. She's just saying what they're saying, and I'll get out my scalpel, and without anesthesia, I will get into those arguments when we come back here in just a few minutes. Okay. Mike Alexander, Jonathan Wilson, the Guzman family, La Familia Guzman from South Pasadena. Call us, be part of this at 866-870-5752.
If you like what you're hearing and would like to support Radio Free Los Angeles and the California Tax Limitation Committee, please call area code 626-792-1772, 626-792-1772, or kindly visit our website, catlc.net, catlc.net. You can also watch Radio Free Los Angeles on Facebook Live at radiofreela.us.
If you'd like to talk with Radio Free Los Angeles, the phone lines are wide open. 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. We're live, local, and here to talk with you. 866-870-KRLA.
All right, I got the thing. We've got Jeff in there on the board. Jeff, good to have you again, as always. And I have the lovely Miss Brooke in there, who's nearly to go to sleep because we're waiting for a phone call from somebody here, to keep it all going up. It's always great to have Brooke with us. We're back with Marcy and Guillermo Guzman from South Pasadena, who are talking about the fiscal problems of South Pasadena, particularly the pension debt. And this is a problem, once again, ladies and gentlemen, that affects each and every one of you. If you want to find out what the pension debt is in your city, Marcy, where do you go?
StopUUT. What was it?
No, that's Pasadena. Go ahead. South Pass is StopUUT.org. But if you want to find out what your pension debt is in Temecula, Orange County, Irvine, Newport Beach, where do you go?
PensionTracker.org, and that's through Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research.
That's
they
right.
have a website.
That's the varsity.
That's where we're getting our numbers from.
That's the varsity, and nobody's questioning their numbers. And if you want to know what people are making, who's employed, and the pensions that they're getting, where do they go, Guillermo, for that information?
CalPERS.
Well, CalPERS. I was hoping your answer would be Transparent California.
Yeah. Great website. Great website.
It is. Yeah. So we're not making this stuff up. I think that reasonably competent people could get to this information.
Well, you can go for CalPERS to compare with Transparent California.
There you go. Now you got it.
And then you get the real idea.
That's right. And Marcy.
Well, I just wanted to remind everybody that we've got an initiative on the ballot down in South Pass for this November to repeal the utility users tax, and that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Guillermo's one of the proponents.
Right. What is the name of the measure?
Stop the UUT Measure N.
N.
As in vote yes on N.
Yes on N.
It's confusing.
Right. You want your money back, say yes on N. That's the only way to go.
Yes. So what are the chances of it getting passed, Marcy?
I think it's going to be really hard. You know, this is our first time ever getting something on the ballot, and where a lot of people have no idea about these issues, and they're getting two scenarios, one from us and one from the city, and the city's scenario is very scary because the scenario is losing all the police and fire services. And
right, and we want to deal directly with those issues. Right now, I've got a couple of people who I hope they have. I've got Dave on line one from Orange County. Are you there, Dave?
Hello, Mike. Hello.
Hey, how are you? Do you have a question or a comment on South Pasadena tonight? Otherwise, we'll hold you over till after 9 o'clock.
Okay, I have a suggestion based on some experience with some strikers in 2006, and I had mentioned this before, Mike, but I want to offer a proposal for looking into this idea to help you with these tensions, because people are going to be outraged when I tell them about this. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
Their demands are just over the top. That's the problem. And maybe you will have to hold me over the break. I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
Well, why don't we hold you to after the break? Because it sounds like you've got a brainstorm, and I've got these wonderful people here. I want to keep the focus on South Pasadena and the pension issues right now, because we're laying them bare here one by one. Let's go to line 2. I've got Brent from Los Angeles. Brent, good to hear from you again. How are you tonight? Brent, are you there? All right. Well, Brent,
hello?
Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, now I got you. Do you have a comment or a question for the Guzmans?
Well, I had some comments,
yes.
But it was about the situation with SEIU not advising employees locally and statewide that they don't have to be paying into the dues into the unions, and also the situation with the total corruption of the state and national teachers unions,
yes.
What they're involved in.
Right. Now, when we come back in the 9 o'clock hour, I'm going to connect up everything that's happening at the local and the national level, so you can either hang up and call back, or you can hold on till after.
I'll hold.
Okay. We'd love to have you on. We'll pick that up, because what you have to say about the SEIU and everything else is very important. Now, I want to go back to what's going on down in South Pasadena. So I've read the ballot statements, and you'll see them. They're up there at CaliforniaTaxpayersUnion.org. So if you want, we put it all up there. There's no need to hide the ball. And when you go through the ballot statement by the city, what I find remarkable about it is what blather it is. Oh, we're working so hard. It's nothing but a bunch of public union talking points. They're not working hard on these numbers, and they just say, "Well, we're no more or less competent or diligent in managing our finances than other cities."
And it's the same in every city. It's the same exact playbook.
Right.
They basically, the sales tax increase in Pasadena.
Yes, they have the formula already for all the cities, and they have used in the past. They have used professional advertisement companies that specialize in helping the cities raise revenue.
Yeah, and there really is no doubt that the city and the school districts and everybody else are actually electioneering, aren't they? They may claim it's legal, but the city is putting out so-called voter information packages and other communications that are designed to defeat this measure, correct?
Yeah, and these companies are not cheap. They charge a lot of money. So, where's that money coming from?
Yes.
The unions or from the city, they pay for this. They do surveys among the people.
Public relations?
Yeah. So they do all these things that cost a lot of money.
Right.
And who's paying for that?
You are. We are.
The taxpayers are basically are paying to have themselves manipulated.
Correct, and I'm going to pick this up after 9 o'clock. What I want to finish in the 5, 6, 7 minutes that we have available here, I want everybody to take out their pens and pencil and take notes, because what I'm about to say is of overwhelming and compelling importance. So why is it down there in South Pasadena that they won't really come to grips with these two huge numbers that we put out there? We've stated that the city is basically insolvent. My God, what CalPERS phony number is $29 to $35 million, and the real number may be as much as $100 million. Well, whether it's 30, 50, 75, 80 million, or 100 million hardly matters. That is a great big huge number, but yet they don't focus on it. And why don't they focus on it? Let me tell you the reasons why. Number one, if they focus attention on that number, then the con will be over. If they and I'm sure that when they got together, they say, do not focus on that number, do not debate that number, draw no attention to either one of those numbers, because if we do that, it will communicate to the people just how big this problem is. And we can say all day long that we're as good as anybody else. Oh, we're very efficient, and we don't pay our people as much as the surrounding people pay. But that number with people, we can't repeat it often enough. 29 million, 35 million, $100 million. When they see that, if the citizens focus on that number, they will know that they've been hustled, conned, and scammed. That's number one. Number two reason why they don't focus on that number. If they focus on that number, they'd have to do something about that number. Instead, they say, it reminds me of this judge I used to know down in Bellflower, who used to say, oh, the court's hands are tied. Every time you wanted him to do something, say, oh, the court's hands are tied. Well, they tied their own hands up in Sacramento a long time ago to make sure that these pension arrangements could not be changed at the local level. As a matter of fact, the same city of South Pasadena has spent millions of dollars opposing the 710 freeway going through their wonderful city. I'm not going to get involved in that. whether it's right, wrong, or different. But they claim that the city's best interests required it, and they haven't spent a nickel. They haven't lifted a finger to go to Sacramento and to get this plan changed. They haven't joined any lawsuits. Even today, they're not agreeing with you that it's a problem. They should be condemning this system equally as we are, because they should be saying, not me, not you. They're the ones who are in charge of that place down there, and they should be saying today, hey, look, we've got to get rid of this defined benefit pension plan. These plans are no longer sustainable. Our city is broke, and we're headed directly for bankruptcy court here if we don't get this fixed. And they should be joining these lawsuits. They're not. And why? Because the public employee unions are the ones who get them elected. They're the ones who keep them there. They're the ones who give them the talking points. And if they talk about these numbers, they would be forced. This comes to number 3. Keep those pens and pencils out there. Focus on this one, class. If they focused on those numbers, they would probably have to restate that obligation on their financial statement. What do I mean by that? They'd have to admit that that number, might be as much as $100 million. Now, if they did that, what would happen? Anybody?
Well, they'd be bankrupt.
They wouldn't be able to borrow any more money.
Yeah.
Right? And it might be a breach of their bond covenants on the existing bond indebtedness that they have, and that might be a ticket right to bankruptcy court right there. They don't dare admit it, and you can bet that I'm going to have to come back to this. Too damn much fun. Hey, you guys want to stay over a little bit? All right, We've got Marcy and Guillermo Guzman, Jonathan Wilson here with me, Radio Free Los Angeles. Stay with us. Come back after 9 o'clock. We have a couple of callers and continue this wonderful conversation.
Come in, Southern California. This is Radio Free Los Angeles. Do you copy? Repeat, do you copy?
Now transmitting from behind the Iron Curtain in the People's Republic of California, we bring you the voice of free men, free markets, and limited constitutional government. Welcome to citizen-sponsored Radio Free Los Angeles with President of the California Taxpayers Union, Mike Alexander, and editor of the Taxpayer Gazette, Jonathan Wilson.
All right, back with you. Mike Alexander, Jonathan Wilson, and Guillermo and Marcy Guzman from South Pasadena. And the watchword for this evening is to vote yes on Measure N, N as in nuisance. So get rid of that measure down there. Vote no against, and give yourself some tax relief. Now, I want to emphasize that the reason that you guys have used the vehicle of the initiative to repeal the tax is that, as a matter of fact, it's one of the few ways that you guys have to actually highlight financial issues in the city, because the city otherwise won't discuss these issues on their own, will they?
No.
They let you come in there for 5 minutes at a time like a bunch of chumps, and you got to string together 4 or 5 minute presentations. And then they sit there like warts and just stare at you like you weren't actually there. Just ignore it. And this is this reminds me of their motto: never drop the con. The whole thing's a con. Even when you get caught, especially when you get caught, never drop the con. So they're keeping the con going. Now, just to wrap up that one thing, part of the con is that if the $3.6 million goes away, they're going to have to fire police and fire and this and that. Now, there's several lies all wrapped into one. But the single number one, they always talk about cutting positions, never salaries or benefits. If they cut salaries or benefits and brought them into line, they could maintain police and fire and safety services, and in fact, they could buy more of them if they wanted, but you just can't do it when you're paying these people more than the governor. And you can't do it when you've got people doing other stupid things in the cities, including senior services or whatever sort of nonsense that they busy themselves with down there. But the biggest lie of all, and everybody, keep those pads and pencils out there. You've been taking notes. The city's arguments are actually factually correct. If that $3.6 million goes away with their existing business model, their revenue model, and their spending model, if $3.6 million goes away, yes, they will have to make these very significant, even potentially devastating cuts. There's no question about that. And ladies and gentlemen, the whole point that these patriots are making down in South Pasadena, the whole point that we're making here on the show every week is that that day is coming, because that $29 million are starting to jack up the contributions every year, and so they're going to need another $2, $3, $4 million of additional revenue this year. And then the next year, they're cooking up another tax, and I'm telling you, they can't tax their way out of this problem. Hell is coming to breakfast. They're going to have to face this, and they're just hoping to generate enough political will across the state to get the settlement that they want. The California Supreme Court will be dealing with this issue. So they are quite correct that they're only one paycheck away from disaster. And that's our point. They can't sit there, pretend to run the city, have the fiduciary responsibility to run the city, and then ignore these numbers like they didn't exist, or say, oh, I didn't know, and this not. Hey, you can't say that. Yes, Marcy.
Well, we aren't arguing that they have to make these cuts until you factor in the pension debt. And that's what the point we're trying to make is the revenues keep going up so much. If they just stop increasing spending and let the revenues increase naturally, they won't have to make those cuts.
Oh, I disagree.
Okay.
It's as if we didn't have this conversation for the last hour. That number, that $35 million number, is so big that it's a bust.
But that's what we're saying. When you put the pension debt in, that it is a bust.
That's correct.
But that's why we're adding in that you have then to deal with that. You have to get out of the CalPERS.
I know.
Okay.
I was doing okay till I had to pay my bills. Please. Okay, so now we've worked our way through that. We still have, I want to come back to some of this other stuff, but I've got our old friend Brent is on line too. Brent, are you there, my friend?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Mike, John, Guillermo, and Marcy.
Hey.
Hi, Brent.
Hey, Brent.
Good people. You wanted to comment on the SEIU, and I wanted your comment because I wanted to use that to lead into a broader discussion of what's actually going on in South Pasadena and at the national level. Go ahead.
Yes, what I was thinking about is I know somebody that works for the courts, and he always sends me SEIU emails that are going out. Mm-hmm. And apparently the state and national teachers unions and SEIU are not advising their employees that they don't have to be paying these union dues.
Uh-huh.
And they're keeping mute on all of this, and there are hundreds of millions of dollars that they're just receiving.
Yeah.
And these people, whereas you're referring to all the federal and the financial corruption, I was listening to a woman named Rebecca Friedrichs. If you're
sure.
Her.
She was the lead plaintiff in the first teacher case or I should say the first public employee decision that went to the Supreme Court. But Scalia died, so they didn't review it because it was only 4-4. And then the next case up was Janus, and of course it won.
Exactly. And she's coming out with a new book called Standing Up to Goliath, where so much of this money, whenever we see left-wing protests with Antifa, Occupy, Black Lives Matter, Anti-Second Amendment, and now with Judge Kavanaugh, they have the organizing skill, power, and money, and they're behind all of these.
That's right.
Not to mention the incredible abuse of sexual education classes and programs that are being forced upon our children.
That's right. These public employee unions particularly the so-called teachers association, are the root of almost all evil in the United States. And I thank you for that comment, Brent, for being part of our show. Now I'd like to take that point and move on and take it broader. Here in this last week, we saw something truly amazing. We saw the false witness borne against Judge Kavanaugh. Absolutely outrageous. We've heard of all these things, and I don't want to rehash or relitigate what went on over the last 2 weeks. But I do want to make the primary point about what happened. You know, when we go back into the history of Western civilization, and we look at the concerns expressed first by the Greeks, later by the Romans, they had a deep, deep distrust of democracy. Democracy with a small d, which they interpreted as the mob. And the entire history of self-governance, the entire history of constitutional government, the rule of law, was an effort to keep the mob outside. That's what the Roman Senate was. That's what we modeled the American Senate on, was this Roman idea of the Senate where the leadership of a society would meet and reflectively arrive at judgments which were best for the country. Now, I know that's a lot. It's not what happens there, even on the best of circumstances. But what the left did, particularly Democrats here in this case, what they did was to actually bring the mob into the Senate chambers. That is so symbolic. They brought the mob that was in the streets. They brought them in there, and they became part of the mob. They became the leaders of the mob, the very antithesis of constitutional government, the very antithesis of civilized self-government. It is absolutely outrageous, and these people are evil beyond the description of the word. We'll be back in a minute here and continue this rant. Mike Alexander, Jonathan Wilson, and, of course, the lovely Guzmans from South Pasadena. Back with you in just a moment. Hello, this is Michael Alexander, Managing Principal of Private Trust Management Group. Our professionals will serve as your trustee or work with a current trustee to rapidly and effectively administer your estate. We serve attorneys and clients throughout Southern California. Remember, you don't have to do it alone. For more information, call us at 626-622-8000 or go to our website, privatetrustees.com.
If you'd like to talk with Radio Free Los Angeles, the phone lines are wide open. 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. We're live, local, and here to talk with you. 866-870-KRLA.
All right, back with you here. Mike Alexander, Jonathan Wilson. We'll continue our conversation about what's going on. Now, I want to link that what happens up there. And Brent, thank you for bringing out that excellent point about the SEIU and where the root of these problems is. From the very beginning of this program back in January, we have talked about these issues and how government and power in the United States actually operates. You want to know who was running that mob and why it was able to get away with what it got away with. I'll give you two examples. Kamala Kami Harris and Dianne the Corpse Feinstein. Those two there. Why did they feel free that they could do that? Marcy, do you have any idea? Yeah, you do.
Well, the unions?
Money.
Oh.
Were they going to lose their positions?
No.
No. Mm-hmm. And why were they not going to lose their positions? Why was there no political downside for them? Why are they still going to be senator in this state? As a simple answer, you know the answer. What is it?
The public employee unions will elect them.
Will continue to send their money up there.
I agree with that, but there's also the willful blindness of the voter.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I think that's a deep problem.
Yes.
That Californians are just willfully follow these people and do what they're told.
Yeah, and that leads us, so now we're down to the 2 or 3 root problems. We have a runaway left in this country, mostly in the Democrat Party, but a lot of people on the Republican side willing to accommodate their madness because they're afraid of them and they're afraid of the media, which operates in league with them. And who enables all of this? The public employee unions. But once again, keep those pads and pencils out because this is on the test. It's not what they do, is it, Marcy?
It's what we don't do.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. It's not what they do, it's what we don't do. They're raising here in the state of California almost $1 million in dues. That's going to go backwards somewhat, 10 or 20%, but it'll still be one hell of a lot of money that they raise every year. And what do we do on a coordinated basis?
Nothing.
Almost nothing. So we have these wonderful patriots working away with very few resources down there. That's our fault. Those of us who aren't members of the California Taxpayers Union, all we have to do here in the county of Los Angeles, there are almost 1 million Republicans and another, 500,000 independents who think pretty conservatively, right? So they call in. Are they contributing $2 a week, $100? Do you think that we would have the situation that we have in Los Angeles County if Republicans, conservatives, and like-minded Democrats and independents were contributing $2 a week, $100 a year? Would we have the same political situation in Los Angeles County? No. You're nodding head.
No, we wouldn't.
Thank you. That's the right answer. Come up, sit at the head of the class. Of course we wouldn't. It's not what they do, it's what we don't. Now look what happened when Lindsey Graham pushed back. Look what happened when Susan Collins somehow somebody wrote her a speech that she was willing to read. Apparently a masterpiece. I didn't read it. This is what happens when you push back. Look at Trump pushing back all the time. This is what we need to do, but we can't do it if you don't organize with us. Imagine we have 5 million Republicans, probably 6 million independents and everybody else. If we put all this together, we can be successful. That's what we have to do. And our problem is the meter maid right here in Pasadena and Glendale and the cops who put their money into the unions, and that money gets funneled up to certain people who will keep big government going. So we have to break the back of big government starting at the local level. And remember, state and local governments spend half of the $8 trillion a year that gets spent on government. There's $4 trillion of it gets spent on local. We have to push back at that, start with taking our children back, cut back these pensions, get our cities under control, because right now we're on a collision course with reality, and they're not going to turn loose. They're not going to turn loose not only of their pensions, they're not going to turn loose of the political power that flows from large government and those large salaries. You got it? That's why we're there. That's why they're whistling past the graveyard. That's why they won't mention these numbers, because they refuse to drop the con, because it's all on the table. And when we push back at the local level, we have a chance to win. Now, let me take one call before we go to our Government Grifter of the Week award. I want you guys to be working here on your nominations while I take a call from Mike in Palos Verdes. Mike, how are you? Thanks for calling in again, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good. I just have a general information question for the average idiot, me. Are politicians classified as some sort of endangered species, perhaps like the bald eagle? And if they aren't, why wouldn't a RICO statute apply to them? Is there some limitation in law that would prevent this? I mean, these are criminals.
It's called sovereign immunity. All right. In other words, the government itself, including judges, are immune for the actions that they take in the course and scope of their employment. Now, if they commit an actual crime like bribery or violation of a specific statute designed to control their conduct, they can, but being stupid, being irresponsible, being morally corrupt cannot be attacked through the criminal justice system. And that's really, if you stop to think about it, that's as it should be, because otherwise we would have dozens of special prosecutors running around the country when the real remedy is for us to form up and organize politically and kick them the hell out of office.
Okay, well, just as a real quick afterthought.
Yes.
It seems like whenever someone gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar,
yes,
and consequences apply to them where it's carried through and it's time for them to do their sentence, they all scream mommy. So my point would be, couldn't you isolate the most egregious things that are out there, say like a Harry Reid or someone along those lines, and make an example out of him, and when they see that the heads are rolling and there is a price to pay, they're going to start shipping up a little bit.
They will see, yeah, but we're avoiding. I sympathize with you. I get the idea, but we have to behave much more fundamentally. We have to organize. This is why I hope that you've already gone to CaliforniaTaxpayersUnion.org and signed up for the union. We have to get organized, and they need to know that you and I are working together on this, and that we are assembling our war chests so that we can take action against them at the polls. That's all they understand. When they start losing at the polls, then we'll start winning, because these people will never drop the con. Mike, I want to thank you for joining our program tonight. As always, we love to hear from you. And now we're going to go into our favorite feature of the week, music. Maestro, please. It's time for the Government Grifter of the Week.
And now, live from Glendale, California, it's this week's Government Grifter Awards. And we've got some special presenters tonight with us here in the studio, Marcy and Guillermo Guzman, with the nominations from none other than the city of South Pasadena.
All right.
Well, our first nominee is this illustrious award is El Director of Liberal Arts and Culture.
Really?
Library Arts. Library
Arts and Culture. I'm sorry.
How much?
$153,406.
Wow. Amazing. Wow. All right. Second nomination, Marcy.
That would be the street supervisor for $94,651 a year.
Wow. Supervising the street.
Supervisor.
Yeah. That's difficult.
And our last nominee.
Do we have a third nominee?
Yes, we have a third nominee. I'm sorry. And is the Film Liaison.
The what?
Film Liaison.
You know all the movies they filmed in
South Pasadena? I guess it's a film liaison.
Liaison. I'm sorry.
Yeah, revenuers.
At $71,537.
Wow. I might apply for that job.
Yeah.
I used to work in the movie business. I could be a film liaison for South Pasadena.
You'd actually know what you were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then the cops down there, they're sitting there, guarding the equipment and making, I don't know, $100 an hour overtime.
We better get to the winner. I think we're running out of time.
All right. Drum roll, please.
And the winner of this week's Government Grifter Awards is the Director of Library Arts and Culture. Congratulations, Director of Library Arts and Culture.
$153,000.
This is your first nominee and first Grifter Award.
Hey, that's it. And whoever you are down there, we want you to call in, because we want to know what the hell you do for that kind of money. All right.
We got to rehearse that, Mike.
I know.
We never get that right.
I know. Well, you have to come and sing with me on Sundays.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. How much time we got left in here, Jeff? Hey, we got 1 minute, and I just want to thank Marcy and Guillermo. They're personal friends. They're patriots. I'm proud to know you and to work with you. And these guys, nobody has worked harder in politics, for the things that matter, for limited constitutional government, for families, for the future. Nobody's worked harder than these guys. I've known him for years, and I hope to know you for many more years. Thanks for coming on tonight. I hope it won't be the last time. Remember, vote yes on N down in South Pasadena. Get rid of that parcel tax. Watch them cry. It'll be fun. Not parcel tax, utility users tax. It'll be a lot of fun. And join us next week here on Radio Free Los Angeles for a special tape segment. I think you'll like our guests. And then I'll join you live here 2 weeks from now. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Brooke, in there. And we'll see you here 2 weeks from now.